morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Clap your hands, clap, clap, clap. Stomp your feet, stomp, stomp, stomp. Spin around, spin, spin, spin. Alright. Good morning, good morning, good morning. 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 Wash your hands, wash, wash, wash. Shake your hands, shake, shake, shake. Brush your teeth, brush, brush, brush. Alright. Good morning.
All right, good morning. Yeah, it's Uncle Lou here. Welcome to the morning show with Uncle Lou, which is not the same as the nighttime show with Uncle Lou, which is called Uncle Lou Live. I mean, I'm live now, and I'm Uncle Lou, but this is the morning show. No phone calls, and a little bit more laid back in the morning. But anyway, appreciate you guys tuning in this morning. Hard to believe, episode 9 already of the morning show. And it's off to a great start. Thanks to you guys. I really appreciate all the support you guys have shown for this new project we started here a couple of weeks ago. I got a few things I want to talk about this morning. I think we have somebody calling in at 8:15. A guest. We have a guest on at 8:15. At least I hope that's the plan. Anyway, I had somebody cancel on me last time. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. I'm way too busy and much too important to have people canceling on me, where I have to go and reschedule. I saw somebody mention in the comments a minute or two ago about seeing me on Mark Rogers. Yeah, I filmed a segment with him yesterday around lunchtime or maybe a little after. So make sure you guys check that out today. I think most of you, know Mark Rogers TV, The Voice of College Football. Make sure you check him out. We had a pretty good talk on his show. And the next time you watch one of his videos, let him know in the comments section that he needs to come on the Uncle Lou morning show. I've been trying to get him on here. This guy's got more excuses than a Florida fan after a loss as far as why he can't come on the morning show. So you guys get on him. I've been on his show a bunch of times. He needs to come on the morning show. When you guys like to hear Mark Rogers on the morning show, let him know in his comment section next time you watch one of his videos. Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit of football this morning when Brett calls in here in a few minutes. And we'll talk about UGA, Ohio State, and scheduling in general and what's going on with the scheduling over the next 10 or 15 years or so. But do any of you guys have kids? And if you do or don't, what I'm getting at here, when do you put up your Christmas decorations, and when is too early to put them up? I've got, you guys know I have two kids. One's 5th grade, one's 7th grade, and they're already asking to put Christmas decorations up. Like, we just took the Halloween decorations down like 2 days ago, and they want the Christmas decorations up already. I'm kind of a believer in after Thanksgiving or even Thanksgiving weekend. I mean, most people are off like 3 or 4 days there around Thanksgiving, you know, Thursday through Sunday or whatever. I'm usually a believer in waiting till then, especially for outside. I think it's kind of tacky. And everybody has somebody in their neighborhood, don't they, that leaves their Christmas decorations up till like February. Anyway, I don't want to be the guy in the neighborhood that's putting Christmas decorations out the first week in November. But I was wondering if you could, to make the kids happy, maybe we'll put some decorations up inside so it's not embarrassing and the neighbors don't see it, and wait until after Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving weekend to put the ones up outside, and maybe that'll make them happy without me ending up being that one guy in the neighborhood that puts his stuff out way too early. Somebody say Clark Griswold. There's actually a house in our neighborhood that we call the Griswolds. They just it's just lights and decorations literally everywhere. Every inch of their roof, every inch of the front of their house, all their windows, the yard is covered in these inflatable lawn ornaments and sleighs and reindeer. And we call them the kids and us, we call them the Griswolds. Let's drive by and look at the Griswolds' house. So we do that. But anyway, I don't know. I might seem like a, well, it doesn't matter what I seem like, but I'm a sucker when it comes to the kids sometimes, and sometimes we end up giving in and let them get their way. But I don't think I'm going to put Christmas decorations up outside the front of the house before Thanksgiving. But I might end up giving in and putting something up in the house, or even this. We do the big Christmas tree in the living room, like I'm sure most of you do. But then we have like one of those little bitty Charlie Brown trees, you know, that each kid has in their room. It's, you know, it's just a little like 3-foot tree or something with lights on it, and they put that in their room every year. Maybe I'll get that down and let them put that in their room. I don't have to look at it, and then I can do the rest of the stuff inside when I do everything else outside after Thanksgiving. I don't know. When do you guys put your Christmas decorations up? I think most people probably wait till Thanksgiving, at least. And how long do you leave it up? We leave ours up through New Year's. We take ours down. On New Year's. So, anyway, that's my biggest problem in life right now. Which is, you know, I'm not complaining. That if that's my biggest problem, I'm doing okay. But that's my biggest problem right now. Arguing with the kids about how long to wait to put up Christmas decorations. For the Uncle Lou Wayback Machine today, around 8:30, whenever we get off the phone with Brett, you guys know I play an old Uncle Lou video at 8:30 while I go take my bathroom break in the mornings. I drink too much coffee. Usually I play an old video from 4 or 5 years ago from whatever month that we're in. So I would find an old random video from like November of 2014 or something and play it, and we could all laugh at it. But last night on the live show, we got to talking about that QB Hokey Pokey video that I did last night. So I'm going to play that one. I don't know if most of you have probably seen it. I guess it was one of the more popular videos, I think, from last season. But I'm going to play that one because that was my first real music video, and it was a big moment in LouTube history there. The first Uncle Lou music video. Now, if you guys remember, way back when, before I was even doing really college football videos on YouTube, I actually did make 2 rap songs and put on YouTube. And they're bangers. Let's just be real. They're amazing. And I've decided I'm going to do another music video. It's going to be a rap song, though. So anyway, I'm going to play the Hokey Pokey thing for anybody that might not have seen it. Yeah, the People's YouTuber was an amazing rap song. It really was. I'm extremely talented, which should come as no surprise to most of you watching. But I'm extremely talented in the rap game. I couldn't even say that with a straight face. But I've been wanting to do another one, and people ask me all the time to do another rap song or to make another music video. So I'm working on another one. It's in pre-production, though. If you were on the show last night, you already know. But it's in pre-production now. It'll take me a few weeks to do it. I got to work, pre-production takes a while. Then you got production where you actually have to film the video. And then post-production, I have to edit and all that. So anyway, I'm working on it. I hope to have it out in a couple of weeks or so. But, Uncle Lou's second official single. I don't really count the first two I did back in the day, those two raps. I don't really count those. Those were sort of underground tracks. The Hokey Pokey was my first real single. This will be the second one. It will be a rap song, and the name of the brand new Uncle Lou single coming soon, probably in a couple of weeks. The name of this tune, Who Had They Played? That's going to be the name of it. Who had they played? The rap song. It's going to be amazing. I'm excited about it. For obvious reasons. But it's going to be great. And I'm going to try to get some, I'm going to try to make it a group effort too, if possible. I have some people in mind that I would love to get sort of a collaboration, I think that would be great. I really do. Georgia's playing Ohio State in 2030. Has everyone bought their tickets yet? Georgia versus Ohio State in 2030 and 2031. Are tickets sold out? I haven't checked. Probably, I guess. Talk about that. Anyway, special guest on the line. Yeah, good morning in that.
Hey, what's going on, Uncle Lou? Big Dog Brett. How you doing this morning, sir?
Man, it's a great day to be a soldier. Yeah. Appreciate you coming on the show this morning. We were just talking about this Georgia-Ohio State game, which I'll get your thoughts on in a second, though. But this is Big Dog Brett, guys. He has his own YouTube channel. Check him out. Introduce yourself, Brett, to those people that might not know you.
Oh, I appreciate it, Uncle Lou. First of all, thanks so much for having me on the show. I started making college videos about 2 years ago. Really kind of got into it because of you watching the videos you made. It was I kind of wanted to put my own spin on it, which is kind of similar to what you do, but a little bit different. I enjoy talking about college football with fans from all different teams. I don't mind fighting off the trolls. I got a good set of people that jump in and help me fight them, and anybody that's willing to put their opinion out there, and we'll discuss their team, and I'll give them my honest opinion. I do hate and trash talk, and I try to do objective reviews sometimes, and I'm just a huge Georgia fan and looking forward to going to the game on Saturday.
Yeah, and you have a live show too. I called in and talked with you the other day. Is that on a set schedule, or do you want to tell people when the next one is, or if it is on a set schedule, tell them what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. We're starting to do those every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. And sometimes I'll do a sporadic show on a Friday or whenever. So, if you subscribe to my channel and make sure you hit the notification bell, because you never know when the mood's going to strike me.
That's right.
Typically it's on Wednesday nights at 8.
Okay. And whenever we hang up, Brett, make sure you go to the comment section and leave a couple of comments, no matter what they are. I've just found that if you do that, you're more likely to get people to, because people can easily click on your name then.
Absolutely.
And it'll take them right to your channel, and then they can just hit the subscribe button rather than them trying to search Big Dog Brett or whatever. So when he hangs up, guys, just a heads up in the comment section. He'll leave a couple of comments and it'll make it easy for you guys to find his channel. But let's talk let's talk a little bit of well, first off, when do you put your Christmas decorations up?
Well, this is kind of a hot topic in our house. We're huge holiday fans. We do Christmas big. We do Halloween really big. We have the projectors. We have tons of lights in the front yard. We do the graveyard. We've got a 12-foot inflatable flashing ghost. We have animatronics, so we do Halloween really big. Typically, the couple of days after Halloween, we take everything down, put it back into storage, which is why my garage looks like a bomb went off in there. But we typically, my wife starts kind of easy into the Christmas decor, and at some point, about halfway through November, I'll come home and it will like Christmas exploded in my house. But usually the kids will do one room to start with about a week before Thanksgiving.
Okay, well, that's not too bad then. And you have like Santa-aged kids, and you don't have to answer that. I don't know if you even ever talk about that on video, but.
Oh yeah, I mean I've got 3 kids. I got an amazing wife. First of all, she puts up with all my nonsense. I'm sure you can relate.
Yeah.
It's gotten to the point now where when I start doing something just completely insane, she just kind of shakes her head and rolls her eyes and walks off, and she doesn't even question me anymore. But as far as the family goes, I've got a son who is 17, my daughter is 13, and our littlest one, which is the most what we call Christmas susceptible, is 2. He's 2, so.
Okay.
We have a lot of fun at Christmas.
Yeah, so you have them spread out there then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's amazing. Uncle Lou, as soon as I found out my second one had 10 fingers and 10 toes, I went straight to the vet and got my balls cut off.
Well, we were actually told after we wanted to have more after our daughter, but we were told for more than 10 years that it was pretty much a medical impossibility, and then we were blessed with the littlest one. So we count our blessings, and we're lucky to have the guy.
Yeah. All right, let's get into. Georgia, Ohio State scheduled a series. Everyone's aware of that by now. Never mind the fact that we had a home-and-home scheduled with them in 2020 and 2021, which is only 1 and 2 seasons away, which they backed out of, but now they've signed another one for 2030 and 2031. I have 2 questions about that. Number 1, will Ohio State back out of that again? And number 2, will any game by any team that's scheduled right now in 2031 ever be played?
It's such a tough question to really answer. There's so many things that point in the other direction that say, that this may change. And I think that as the 2 programs move towards this date, they're gonna look at their schedule and they're gonna say, you know what, that program's looking really good. I don't know if I want that strong of a team on my schedule. They may decide to back out. So many. I mean, who knows who's going to be by that time? They may have Urban Meyer back after his 37th heart attack. Who knows?
Don't we have Oklahoma on the schedule that same year?
Yep, we have Oklahoma the same year. We have Ohio State the same year, but again, it's one of those things where we don't know if those games are even going to be played. And
I get that. Yeah, I get that. But because there's another year, I think it's 2027, where we play Texas and Florida State in the same year.
Play who in Florida State?
Texas.
I'm not too worried about Texas. If their program is back in its current state, form, and condition, I think we'll be okay even in 2020.
Yeah. I don't know. With the changes coming up with the playoffs and all this kind of thing, and the expansion of the playoffs, and we were talking about this a little bit last night on the show. I mean, 6 teams, 8 teams, whatever they go to, it's not going to be enough. There's people that want 16. There's people that want an FCS style playoff. I mean, if that happens, then the regular season, what they're going to end up doing, they're just going to make the regular season 10 games. There's not going to be no conference championship games, and they're just going to put 16 teams in a playoff. And if that happens, then there's no way any of these games are getting played. I mean, because they're probably going to make everybody play 9 conference games and one not conference game. My guess is that they're going to make you play that first week of the year. And it'll be a group of 5 or an FCS or something.
Well, if we go to a 16 game setting, I think that's even going to further devalue some of the games we play, because at that point it's going to be, you may have 1 or 2 losses, but you're still going to get in a playoff, and from there you have to win out.
Right.
So I think it devalues the undefeated season rankings or the 1-loss team setup we have now. And just in my opinion, I think everybody knew that the having 4 teams in the college football quote unquote playoff was a start. Most of the people I've talked to would tend to say that an 8 bracket would probably be the best. That way you could really have the 5 teams that are the championship winners from the Power 5. You could have let's just say you have an undefeated Minnetonka in there. And you've got an undefeated Baylor in there, and then you could have whatever other team you wanted. And then from that point, it would really sort itself out pretty quick. I mean, at least that's my opinion.
Yeah, I've heard that model discussed before, and I do think the playoffs are expanding in 2020. I mean, the original playoff deal they signed goes through 2020. I think it goes through 2025. Now, I don't know. I can't remember if it ends in the 2024 season or if it ends in the 2025 season. But in any case, it runs through 2025, the current playoff TV deal. So it's going to get reworked at that point, and I'm convinced it's going to go to 8. My theory on what they're going to do is sort of like what you said. I think they're going to guarantee the 5 conference winners are going to get in. I think after that, it's going to be the 2 highest ranked Power 5 teams. And then I think the 8th seed every single year will be the highest rated Group of 5 team. I just think that's what's going to happen. And I can't wait to watch. I can't wait to watch these amazing playoff games between 1 versus 8. I mean, they're just going to be mesmerizing, must watch TV. I mean, we've had 10 first round playoff games so far under this format. There's 5 years of playoffs, 2 first round games a year. That's 10 first-round playoff games. All but 2, or only 2, have been within a score. The rest of them have just been blowouts. They're just so. I mean, 1 is beating the hell out of 4 every year. Why do we want to see? Why do we want to see who's 8? Oregon. Is anyone really interested? Is anyone really interested in seeing Ohio State beat Oregon by 40 points in the first round of this year's playoffs? No.
Well, I think you could tell nobody's interested in watching the Oregon games because their tickets are like $4 a piece.
That's crazy. And I don't think they're allowed to print paper tickets in Oregon because of the Save the Trees thing. Digital tickets only there.
Digital only.
Digital only. Okay, so in all, sort of being serious here, Georgia's not the only team that is beefing up their schedule years and years down the road, which further leads me to believe that somebody somewhere knows all this stuff is changing in 2024 or 2025. And the only benefit, you mentioned the drawback, which is regular season games are going to become a little bit less meaningful. Well, obviously what that means is that teams are going to be more willing to schedule these big non-con matchups, because the idea is, okay, fine, we go to Columbus and play Ohio State and lose. Well, if eight teams are getting in, that doesn't knock us out.
Right.
So I think, look, teams, it's so obvious. Obviously, Georgia's scheduling these people, Alabama's scheduling, all these people scheduling. It's so obvious that what they're doing, even Florida, sir, has scheduled Power 5 non-conference home and home series out of the state of Florida. Can you believe that?
Well, it's Florida, so it's hard to know what they're thinking.
When was the last time Florida played a Power 5 out of conference team on the road?
Golly, I want to say it was it the early 2000s, like 2003?
Early 90s, sir. 1991. Florida has not played a Power 5 team on the road out of conference since 1991. But like we just said, all that is changing now. All that is changing. So let's pull up Florida's schedule for 2020. because I'm sure they have. I'm 100% sure they have some big schedule. So pull it up, and I'll just read it off to you here. But they start the season out, sir. Guess which state they start the season out in? I give you a hint. It's a non-conference game.
Gainesville.
Yes, Eastern Washington. Okay. Didn't they play Kentucky? That's 50-50 who wins there. Okay. Now we have their second non-conference game of the season. Guess which state this one is played in?
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say Florida.
You're 2 for 2. They host the South Alabama Jaguars. Okay. At Tennessee.
Is that a middle school team?
At Tennessee, which they're only playing there, because the SEC tells them they have to. Then they host South Carolina. Then they host LSU. Again, at Ole Miss, only because the SEC tells them they have to. Bye week, Florida and Jacksonville for their annual beating. At Vanderbilt because the SEC tells them they have to. Home against Missouri. And then they finish the season out with 2 non-conference games, one of which is a road game, sir. I'm going to give you 6 guesses on their road Power 5 opponent to close out the season in 2020.
Free Seafood University.
Yes, and of course, they only do that because they're in Florida. They're not about to leave the state for a road game, so they play Florida State every year. Now, before that, they have their final non-conference game of the year. Again, guess the state.
Florida.
Yes, again, in Gainesville, against none other than the New Mexico State Aggies. I don't know what Florida's doing here. I honestly don't. This is just beyond pitiful. This is just beyond pitiful. This schedule is absolutely ridiculous. Eastern Washington, South Alabama, New Mexico State. Jesus Christ. And guess who's going to be coaching when they play Florida State at the end of the year in 2020? Guess who their head coach is going to be? I don't know if you heard the news.
Is it Bob Stoops or Urban Meyer?
Shit. Prime time, sir.
Oh, man.
They want Deion Sanders as a head coach. Now, do you know, I had to look it up because I didn't know off the top of my head. I said, well shoot, I know the guy's on TV, but, in his part-time, I guess he's been coaching, and I just didn't realize it. And I was right. He did coach, and I didn't realize it. He actually was an assistant coach in 2004 for the Dallas Fury, a women's basketball team. That's the only coaching experience he has. But Florida State needs him as head coach immediately or sooner.
Well, the good news is he will have as many division titles as Willie Taggart and Dan Mullen combined. So, he's starting off on the right foot for a Florida team.
I started seeing this floating around, and I said, "There's no way this." But there are legitimate, sporting news sites and things reporting, not that he's going to get the job, but that it's a possibility. The fact that it's even a possibility is probably the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen.
Well, I'm wondering if they're just doing that for headlines and maybe thinking they can get some recruits because of the big name of Deion Sanders.
And I'm sure they could, but here's the thing: there are people out there, okay, who can recruit and coach.
Right.
It's not like trying to find Bigfoot or something. This is like these Georgia fans. You've probably heard this too. These Georgia fans who want Georgia to hire Hines Ward as a wide receiver coach. It doesn't make any sense. Just because a guy can play wide receiver and he happened to go to Georgia, that just doesn't make any sense. He's got no coaching experience. Get a real coach. Hire real coaches.
As bad as it is, they would be better off to hire Bob Stoops for that job.
Oh, yeah, Bob Stoops is Bob Stoops and Urban Meyer are the two best currently unemployed coaches I think that anyone could possibly think of. I just don't know who would want to take over that dumpster fire of a program down there. Plus, they got the whole White Tonto thing going on, which I just don't That's what blows.
Those they give that kid a scholarship.
It's ridiculous. You got some people that are saying the whole Willie Taggart thing was racist, and the thing is, you've got people claiming, you have Florida State people claiming racism on both sides of the Willie Taggart issue. Like, you've got some people saying it was racist to hire him because their theory is he only got the job because he's black. And then you've got the exact opposite side of the coin, another group of people saying he only got fired because he's black. So you got that whole mess going on. Meanwhile, it's 2019, and every Saturday afternoon in the fall, these nitwits at the clown college are dressing up some 20-year-old white frat boy, dressing him up like the white Tonto, strapping him to a show pony, and making him gallop out to the 50-yard line and throw a flaming toothpick into the middle of the ground. That's racist. Hiring Willie Taggart was not racist. It was just stupid.
Well, I think
firing Willie Taggart was not racist. It was just the right thing to do.
Well,
the white Indian thing, that's racist.
I think that's absolutely racist. If they were to have that same guy on the same horse dressed up in blackface.
Oh, it would be all over CNN. Yeah. It would be all over CNN. It would be worse than a Donald Trump tweet.
And it is the exact same thing, in my opinion.
I don't see how they're doing that in 2019, and I don't even have a problem. Like, I know there are some people who think like college football teams shouldn't even be named like the Braves or the Seminoles or the Redskins. I don't care, because all of those teams, not that they need it, I guess, but all of those teams have the support and permission of, like in Florida State's case, the Seminole Nation or whatever it is, has given their blessing to Florida State to use that and all that. So I don't care about teams having a name, the Seminoles or whatever. But you can't tell me they can't find an Indian down there. I mean, the reason Florida State is called the Seminoles is because it's a bunch of them down there. I mean, they've got casinos down there and whatnot. The Seminole the Hard Rock, and I think it's Tampa, is owned by the Seminoles. So there's plenty of engines down there. So I don't understand why they can't find one and put them on a horse. And then they're giving this. Do you really think whatever 19 or 20-year-old frat boy is getting that scholarship actually needs that scholarship? Probably not. Give it to an engine.
I'm just curious as to how you try out for that job. Do you show up on the campus one day with your own pony and your own Indian apparel, and you got your spear, and you say, I want to try out for riding the horse? Yes, sir. Step right this way. We've got a scholarship for you.
Oh, man. I don't know, man. It's just a mess down there. But so if they can't get the thing about Bob Stoops, would he take that job? I'm not sure. Is he even interested? I'm not sure. I think you would hear Bob Stoops' name mentioned with any high-profile job that came open. So just because we're hearing a lot mentioned about Bob Stoops, I'm not convinced that means he's going to get the job or that he's even all that interested. Because I think almost any school, I think, that has an opening, you're going to hear that name floated around. But assume for a minute they're not able to get a Bob Stoops or an Urban Meyer, which are two of the bigger sort of names. What other names? Who would you go after if you were Florida State? And let's be real, we clown Florida State a lot because they've been bad and the whole Willie Taggart thing. That's a top 10 job, top 15 at the worst. I mean, we can clown them all we want, but they're in Florida.
It's definitely the top 10.
They just won a national title in 2013. They've been one of the best teams in America over the last 30 years. So that's a top 10 / top 15 job at the worst. Who would you, if you were in charge of the coaching search and you knew you couldn't get Stoops or Meyer, who are some people you would consider for that job?
I would make an honest attempt to go after Les Miles and see if I could get him to come back. His territory is right there where he coached for so long. I mean, I get that he's at KU or whatever, but I mean, golly, I'm sure this guy would love to come back to the ACC and be close to the SEC again. Can schedule, the games as close to where he's used to playing. I mean, and he's not having a great time, I would say, at K-State right now. He's in the process of still rebuilding that program. So I think if you say, hey, look, FSU has more everything as far as tradition goes than K-State or KU, the Jayhawks. I mean, just ask a kid, would you rather be a Seminole or would you rather be a Jayhawk?
Oh, man.
Would you want to come out here and live on the plains of Kansas in the middle of nowhere where everything's flat and you can stick for 5,000 miles and there's nothing but dirt?
Hey.
Or do you want to come play at Florida State?
Breaking news, though. Breaking news live on the Uncle Lou Morning Show. Somebody paid Chase Young.
What?
That's the word I'm getting here. Ohio State released a statement. He's unavailable for the Maryland game. And rumor is he got paid. That's
wow, he was on the Heisman watch too, wasn't he?
Oh, I think he's as much as a defensive guy can be. I think he's the best player in football. And this is big too. Normally maybe, you lose almost any one defensive player off a team. Maybe say, well, that's not that big of a deal. But you losing Chase Young is a big deal. If this ends up being, it's an indefinite suspension, I guess. But if this ends up being what really happened, that he got paid and he's got to sit out the rest of the year, like he's so good and so dominant on defense, I think that might, in my mind, until 10 minutes ago, Ohio State was the favorite to win the national title. If I had to pick one team right now, I would have picked them. I don't know if I can do that with him being gone. He's that good and means that much to that defense. So I don't know. This is an interesting development here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So who do they have to fill that spot? I don't know if they have anybody that even comes close.
There is no one. There's no one in all of college football that comes close. I mean, he's that good. So this is gonna be interesting. But Brett, I'm gonna let you go. I appreciate you coming on this morning. Leave a couple of comments when we hang up, sir. Let people find you. They can click on your name. You guys click on his name when he comments and take you over to his channel. Make sure you sub him up. Check him out. I really appreciate you taking the time this morning, Brett, and I'd love to have you on again.
Yes, sir. I really appreciate the opportunity. And as always, Uncle Lou, you have a great day. God bless. Go Dogs.
Yep. Have a good morning in that. All right. I'll try to find some information on this Chase Young thing while Uncle Lou does his potty break this morning and plays For You, my number one hit single, which was released around this time last year. Most of you have seen it. This was my first ever music video that I made. I did make 2 rap songs years ago that are on the channel, but those those were sort of underground tracks. This was my first major production here, and really a breakthrough for me. So let me go pee, see what I can hear about this Chase Young thing, and I'll be back in just a minute in that.
Yo, yo, yo! Uncle Lou here, good morning! About this brand new hokey pokey, let's go! You're putting from in, you're taking from out, you're putting Fields back in, he's handing off all about. UGA hokey pokey, let's switch them in and out. That's how you get blown out. You know how Fields is in, nope, now Fields is out. You got Frome back in, getting sacked all about. UGA hokey pokey, switch them in and out. That's why we got blown out. Okay, now Frome's back in, no, now Fields is, I can't keep up because you keep switching them in and out. UGA hokey pokey, switch them in and out. That's why we got blown out. Everybody! I'm in. No, I'm out. I'm in. Out, in, out. Okay, I'm out. Oh, the general's in. The general's in. I'm out. No, I'm in. Out. The general. Out. The general's out. Oh, Todd is in. Todd in. Todd out. No, Todd in. Todd out. Out. In, out. In.
Whoa in. Whoa out. Okay, got you. Whoa out. 17 titles. Go Gators. Yeah. Am I in or out, Luke? In? Oh, I'm out. In. I really don't give a. I'm gonna pray for y'all. Motherfuckers need Jesus.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Chase Young. Where's my Ohio State fans at? I'm seeing, I guess, all the same stuff y'all have been seeing this morning. When I looked it up just now, Chase Young, indefinite suspension, rumors of illegal benefits, getting paid, that kind of thing. I'm a little disappointed that we couldn't afford him. I would love to have had him at UGA. He must have been sky high. He must have been sky high if we couldn't afford him. I don't know. Anyway, that's bad news. That's bad news for Ohio State. But and I'm serious. I think it would be hard to find a defensive player on any. Is it PEDs? I heard illegal benefits. What is it? Now somebody in here saying PEDs. I didn't have a lot of time to look it up. I'm going off a lot of what I saw in the comments section in a few minutes I just spent on the internet here looking into it. In any case, though, I don't know if there's a player on defense for any other team that would have as far as losing one player off of any defense that would have the impact and the effect that the Chase Young thing would have. Frosty says, I think he's only out for one game. Everything I saw said indefinite suspension. I know a little bit about this, and Georgia fans do too, from back in the Todd Gurley incident, right? Where he sold some autographs. Once the school finds out, they suspend the guy, and they suspend him indefinitely, and they notify the NCAA, right? Then the NCAA does an investigation. Here's the thing. Ohio State could play Chase until the NCAA makes a ruling and suspends him. Technically, Ohio State could play Chase Young. But if the NCAA then makes a ruling in a month and says, okay, he did this, this, and this, that's a 4-game suspension, and Ohio State played him, then Ohio State would have to forfeit those games. So this is what always happens. This is what Georgia did with Todd Gurley. Georgia suspended Todd Gurley as soon as they found out what happened. He wasn't suspended by the NCAA, not initially. They sat him out 1 game and notified the NCAA. The NCAA started an investigation. They sat him out the next game. They sat him out the next game. And then there was some rumors that the NCAA was going to make a ruling and say, okay, 3-game suspension, and that Gurley was going to be back for that 4th game. The NCAA ended up making a ruling that it was going to that it needed to be a 4-game suspension, and so Gurley had to sit out that final and then 4th game. Had UGA not suspended him for those first 3 games on its own, they would have had to forfeit. They would have forfeited those 3 games. So Ohio State has to sit him out until the NCAA rules on this. And you guys know the NCAA is rarely in a hurry to do anything. So based on just experience and what I've seen happen in the past, I would say, because we're in week 8, 9 now. I mean, what is it? Ohio State's only got 3 or 4 games left. I don't think we'll see Chase Young again in the regular season. Even if it's something as minimal as selling autographs, which is what Todd Gurley did, the NCAA came down on that with a 4-game suspension. Now, here's what'll be interesting. If it is something like selling autographs, and the NCAA has already approved that, it just doesn't go into effect till 2021, how hard will they really be on Chase Young? If that's what he did. And again, this is all speculation. I have no idea what he did. For all I know, some booster gave him $50,000 or something. And if that's the case, his career at Ohio State is over, in my opinion. He'll have to be gone forever if it's something like that. But the problem for Ohio State is they have to sit him out until the NCAA rules. They can't put him back in. They can't play. They can't take the chance. They're undefeated. They can't take the chance. If they play him this week, and then 2 weeks from now, the NCAA makes a ruling and says he's suspended for 4 games, Ohio State would have to cancel or forfeit whatever game Chase Young played in after Ohio State knew what he did. So Ohio State can't take that chance. So now, is it going to matter this week against Maryland? No. But they got Penn State coming up. They've got Michigan coming up. They've got a Big Ten title game coming up. And if all that goes well, then obviously they have the college football playoffs coming up. Now, we saw something similar to this at the end of last season with Clemson when they got caught cheating with PEDs. And they had to sit 3 players, wasn't it? Only one was a starter, though. And he was a good player. I mean, he ended up getting drafted. He was a good player. He wasn't Chase Young good, though. Who was it? Was it Dexter Lawrence? I mean, Dexter Lawrence wasn't on any Heisman lists. You know, he was a great player. He wasn't Chase Young. This could be a big blow. How much will it affect Ohio State on the field? We'll see. I don't know. I'll be the first to admit I don't know who Chase Young's backup is. For all I know, it's some 5-star freshman who's going to be the next Lawrence Taylor. I mean, I don't have any idea. But I seriously doubt whoever they replace Chase Young with is going to be anywhere near as good immediately as Chase Young is right now. I have been talking about Chase Young since about week 2 or week 3. I've been telling y'all I think he's the best player in college football. Hunter Newman, thank you for the super chat. Maybe FSU will hire Butch Jones. Butch Jones isn't allowed to get hired anywhere. He's the head coach in waiting at Alabama. That's why, if you notice, Alabama loses all its assistants every year. Last year, they lost every assistant they had except Butch Jones. Ask yourself why. It's because they're keeping him because he's Nick Saban's replacement. Dane says Michigan 50 and Ohio State 0. I don't know about that. I do think this. I do think this hurts Ohio State. I honestly can't think of a defensive player anywhere else that a team could lose on that would have nearly the impact and effect of losing Chase Young. I'm thinking about Georgia right now. Especially our front four, which is where Chase Young plays. He plays on the outside. We've got good players there. We don't have a Chase Young there, and we play 3 or 4 different guys rotated in and out. So Georgia losing a guy like that wouldn't have as big as an impact on Georgia as it does Ohio State, mainly because we don't have anybody nearly as good as Chase Young, and I don't know if anybody does. Slim Shady, what's up, buddy? Thank you for the super chat. Mark Richt to FSU. I've heard that name a little. I'm not so sure he's ready to get back into coaching. I mean, he just fake retired last year, and then he had an actual heart attack just a couple of weeks ago. I would be surprised if he coached any. I'm not saying he's done forever. I've seen a lot of weird things happen, so I'm not willing to bet that he's done coaching forever. But I would be surprised if he coached in 2020. What's the difference between Mark Richt and Urban Meyer? What's the difference? You couldn't find 2 more polar opposites. What's the same? Nothing. That might be one of the weirdest questions I've ever been asked. Urban Meyer is human garbage. Mark Richt is one of the best human beings on earth. Urban Meyer is an elite national title-winning head coach who cares about nothing but winning national titles. Mark Richt's a nice guy who hugs players when they screw up. Mark Richt doesn't care when he loses and doesn't care anything about winning national titles. Do I think Ohio State is done? I don't think they're done. I mean, I don't think losing losing an outside linebacker, defensive end. It's not that I don't think it will have any effect or impact. I don't think it's the type of loss that, that's it. Ohio State's going to lose to Michigan and Penn State now. Now they could, but they could have lost to Penn State and Michigan with Chase Young. I mean, I know they'll be favored in those 2 games, but I don't think it's that kind of impact. I mean, it's not like if LSU loses Joe Burrow, it's not that big of a deal. Or if Alabama were to lose Tua for the rest of the season, it's not that big of a deal. But it's a big deal. Chase Young has been suspended indefinitely. For those that are tuning in late, I'm hearing that it may involve impermissible benefits. What exactly that entails, I really don't know. But he's suspended indefinitely starting now, so he won't be playing this weekend for in the Maryland game. I just started hearing about this through the chat section here while I was doing this live stream, and then I took a 5-minute break and tried to look some stuff up, but there's not a lot of information out there other than the fact that Ohio State released a statement saying that Chase Young has been suspended indefinitely starting this week against Maryland. So everything else, at least that I've seen, is pretty much rumors. He was paid, illegal benefits. Somebody in the chat section said PEDs. So I really don't know much of anything other than the fact that he's not playing this week against Maryland. Celine Driver, what's up, buddy? Greetings from the ATL. Leaving for North Carolina. Go Gators. All right, be careful, man, on that ride. Be careful on that mountain today, too. Try to keep it between the lines if you can. That would be ideal. Slim Shady, thank you for the super chat. Greg Russo for Miami will be better. Will be better than Chase Young. Numbers are almost. I mean, I keep hearing that. Again, numbers matter. I'm not saying numbers and stats don't matter, but there isn't anybody on planet Earth who has watched Russo play and watched Chase Young play that thinks Russo is Chase Young. Not to say he can't develop into that, but he's not that now. That's just silly to even suggest at this point. Melissa May says LSU fans get their dentures at Goodwill. I have to end the show right at 9 today, too, guys. I've got somebody coming to redo one of the bathrooms in here, and they wanted to come at 8:30 this morning, and I told them that wasn't going to work for me. I had to get on here and talk to the people from 8 to 9, so they're coming at 9:15, they said. So I've got to get off of here right at 9, which I hate because it is Chase Young. I would love to stay on for a little bit and see if we can find out more about this Chase Young situation, but I'm going to have to end the show here in a few minutes. Slim says he means in the future. Yeah, well, I mean, there's there's a couple of dozen players who could be as good as Chase Young in the future, but there's none that are as good as Chase Young right now. Keith, I don't know. Chase Young's he's amazing. Look at all you need to know. Watch the Ohio State-Wisconsin game, or just go to YouTube and watch the highlights of the Wisconsin-Ohio State game. Chase Young, that was one of the best defensive performances I've seen from an individual player, maybe ever, in that game. It was unbelievable what Chase Young did to Wisconsin. So it's a huge deal to lose him. But it's, Ohio State is not a one-man team, particularly on defense. I mean, they are elite at all three levels. So I don't know if losing Chase Young, I don't know if it's enough to cost them a game against somebody like Penn State. Now, they play somebody with one of these elite quarterbacks, and that's nothing against that. Look, the Penn State quarterback has played way better this year than I thought he would. I thought next year was going to be Penn State's year. So in my mind, Penn State's almost playing with house money, in my opinion. I thought next year would be the year Penn State took a run. They're doing it now. I think where Ohio State would really miss somebody like Chase Young is against potentially in the playoffs an Oklahoma with Jalen Hurts, an Alabama with Tua, an LSU with Joe Burrow. I would love to see Clemson's offensive line against somebody like Chase Young and see if they can keep him off Trevor Lawrence. So that's not to say that it won't have an impact or an effect on Penn State, but I don't know if I would. Well, let me ask you this. What do you think the line would have been on the Ohio State-Penn State game an hour ago before Chase Young got suspended? Ohio State would have been favored by how much against Penn State? I'm going to say probably 7 to 10 points. Now that Chase Young is gone, how do you think that would affect the betting line? 2 points, 3? I don't think it will. In other words, I don't think it would affect it that much. So, I don't know. There's probably already a line out for the Penn State-Ohio State game. I have no idea what it is. I was guessing when I said 7 to 10 points. Chase Young's gone. Okay, now maybe they're favored somewhere between, instead of 7 to 10, maybe they're favored between 6 and 8 now. I really don't know. That'll be interesting sort of to see. Anyway, I got the hype and hate video coming up today too, guys. Georgia, Missouri. Hard to do a hype and hate from Missouri, but I'm going to give it my best shot. And if anything else comes out, I'll probably make some sort of Chase Young video later today. I'll probably wait, though, till like real later this afternoon, 5, 6 o'clock, something. News is probably going to trickle out over the course of the day about this thing, and I don't want to make a video at 11 or 12 o'clock, and then more news comes out at 1 o'clock. So I'll do the hype and hate video and get that uploaded as quick as I can this morning, and then I'll sort of keep an eye on this Chase Young situation throughout the day, and I'll try to make a video on it late afternoon if we find anything else out. So I appreciate all you guys tuning in this morning. Big shout out to everybody with the Super Chat, Slim Shady, Celine Driver, and Hunter Newman. I really appreciate you guys. Supporting the channel through the Super Chat feature. It really means a lot. So thank you guys for doing that. And everybody in the comments section with the thumbs up, sharing the videos, that stuff helps out a ton too. So I really, really appreciate it. Thanks everybody for tuning in. This is the last morning show of the week. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. I will have the call-in show tomorrow morning, College Game Day. Watch with Lou at 9 a.m. So next live show tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. I'm also live streaming the LSU-Alabama game, but that's on the Patreon page. I see a lot of you in the comment section who are over on the Patreon page. You guys know the routine. About 3:15 on Saturday. Tomorrow, just check the Patreon page. There'll be a link posted. Click that link. It'll take you to the live stream for the LSU-Alabama game. We can watch that game together. If you want to sign up on the Patreon page and you're not already, there's a link in the description of this video and every video that says support the channel and join the Patreon page. Click that link. It'll take you to the Patreon page. Get yourself signed up. We have a good time during those game streams. But anyway, again, I appreciate all you guys watching. I'm going to get started on this hype and hate video and make sure this worker bee with the bathroom knows what he's doing. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a good morning.